So what we're going to talk about, deal structures. There are many different ways to partner with other investors, and I've done any version of these. And I'm going to dive into these a little bit deeper, but let's define them at a high level. So first of all, you can partner at the business level versus at the deal level, right? I don't have any partners in my business, right? The Aligned Real Estate Partners business. But obviously a lot of investors out there are partnering with a business partner in their business, and they're co-investing and they're buying every deal together, right? And if they're raising money, the two of them are still involved in the deal, and your partners at the business level, right? I think that's kind of the very high level version of partnering with other folks. You can do joint venture partnerships, which is just a fancy way of saying you and other people that are going to be active in the deal, right? So it could be you and another investor, you and a friend in the marketplace that's got a deal. He's got the deal, you got the money, you guys figure out a way to partner on it. Could be you and a major investor that's looking to be a little bit more passive, somebody that's bringing all the equity. Maybe you're finding the deal and operating it, but they're funding the entire thing. And maybe you have all the decision-making control from an operation standpoint, but they have some decision-making control from when we're selling the property or when we're refinancing it. Or it could be you and a few major investors, right? And I'm going to talk about what technically defines a JV in a moment, but these are just some common in practice applications of what I'm talking about there. And then you can do syndications, right? And this is you could spend 2 hours on this topic alone. I'm going to touch on it, but I can't go throughout this presentation without mentioning it. But that is you as the general partner or the sponsor, either you or other GPs, but one or multiple GPs raising capital from one or multiple limited partners who are investing in the deal that have no active involvement in the deal. They have no decision-making control. They have no say over how the deal is managed or operated, or when it's sold or refinanced, et cetera. In that situation, that is considered a syndication, and I'll outline the difference in a moment. So what are some of the benefits of doing this, right? For me, I was so hesitant forever to partner with other folks or to raise any money. I was like, for the first 5 years in this business, I was like, I want to own everything. I want to own 100% of every deal I'm doing. I don't really want to give up any of the upside. I want to control it. And it's for, at the time, what I thought to be financial reasons, but really it was like, I think I was intimidated by the prospect of doing it. I didn't really want to be on somebody else's schedule. I didn't want to have to answer to somebody else. And at the time, I just thought, I can keep scaling with my own money, right? Why would I decide to bring in other people's money when I can keep buying these deals and, maybe using a lot of debt to buy them, or, investing a little bit more aggressively is probably the way to put it. And now, I look back and I realize that was a really risky way to go about doing business. And I happened to be doing it at the right time in terms of using a lot of debt and continually reinvesting capital into new deals and really having a thin amount of reserves in the back end. And now every deal we do, we bring investor capital in, because now I prioritize the peace of mind of having money in the bank, and I'd much rather use investor capital and have a nice chunk sitting in our company operating account than actually going out there and just trying to throw all of my money into deals as fast as possible to grow as quickly as possible. And in terms of some of the other benefits, right? You can scale faster and more efficiently. Obviously, when you're using other people's money, you can do more deals, and deals becomes your constraint more so than money. And you can do these deals more efficiently. And a nice little reason that I like to mention to people is when you buy a deal with investor capital, you raise all the money that you need for the life of that deal up front. And it very, very significantly reduces the amount of complexity behind the scenes where you're kind of, taking some money out of this company's operating account so that you can do a renovation over on this property, or this property's cash flowing really well. So you take all that cash flow and go buy another one, and the money's moving around, and it's a little bit harder to keep track of. But there's something nice and clean and easy about doing a deal with a partner or some investors where all of the money is in that account day one to close on the property, to do the renovations, for the reserves, et cetera. And it makes managing your cash as a real estate entrepreneur much easier. You can leverage other people's experience and track record. And this is especially helpful for those that are newer in this game, right? Maybe you've done a ton of single family flips, for example, but a little intimidated by the prospect of finding, financing, structuring, and operating a 20, 30 unit multifamily or something. You can bring somebody in that has a breadth of experience doing those types of deals, and they can really be the partner on it. And they can help to operate it, and you can just learn while also making money by partnering with someone that has experience. And oftentimes this is a way to get a deal across the finish line with a bank or other investors as well. You might need somebody with more experience. Again, mitigates your risk. Less of your money in a deal means your own risk is mitigated. And again, it mitigates the risk of your company running into cash issues because you're retaining more money, in your operating account, right, as a business. And it might allow you to access different markets, do bigger deals. And, it's one of those things where if you're going to try and do deals out of state and you don't have a physical presence there, it is much easier to get a deal done there if you have somebody that's local to that marketplace, right? And when we entered Florida, we did the first two deals we did were 16 and 28 units. A friend of mine just lives in Tampa, Florida. We did these deals in Lakeland, about 30 minutes from Tampa, and just partnered with him on the deal. And he was kind of the boots on the ground to hold the PM accountable, to hold the GC accountable, to check on the property every couple of weeks. And we could have done it technically without him. I could have flown down there every few months or figured out some other creative solution. But it made that process significantly more streamlined and easy, right? To just embrace bringing in somebody else, giving them a piece of the deal, and it mitigated our risk, allowed us to operate the deal more efficiently, and made us feel a little bit more comfortable making that jump. So ultimately, you buy more deals, so less of your own money, you reach your goals faster, right? That's the point blank summary. Now, in terms of JVs versus syndications, so a JV is a deal where there's multiple active partners in the deal, and the easy way to think about this is everybody in the deal needs to have a quote unquote job. So, again, as I kind of used a few examples a few slides ago, but it could be you and a partner and you're both operating the deal. Maybe he's managing the construction, you're doing the property management or something like that. But if you start to bring in investors, the line starts to get a little bit muddied between syndication, right? Because if you're bringing in investors that have absolutely no say in how the deal is operated, they are now reliant upon you, a third party, for the success of that deal. And now you've crossed the security threshold and you're in the syndication world. Now, again, the easiest way to get past this is give everybody a job. If you have a few investors, maybe you make one of them responsible for quote unquote investor relations. They're going to send the email around to all the other investors talking about how the deal's going. Maybe one of them signs on the loan, and that's a material participation in the deal. Maybe one of them, maybe you give them some kind of decision-making control over like when we sell the property, you need like a majority vote. So there's, speak with an attorney about all this stuff. Obviously, like I'm not an attorney. You got to have a, conversation with an attorney, but I think it's important to distinguish these two structures because it informs how you approach a deal and look at deals.